Welcome back to Families in Action right here on KHTS, AM 1220, your hometown station. Today, our topic is the 100 deadliest days for teens. And I'm your host, Michael Doherty, along with your host, Cary Quashen.
What's your name?
The Silver Fox.
Exactly.
I know you didn't know who I was by my real name.
Exactly. I have no idea. I don't want our listeners to get confused.
Cary, before we left, we were talking about how marijuana affects teens, and during the summer months, during this time we're talking about, it translates into 6,300 new teen marijuana users each day.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
A 40% increase in first-time youth marijuana during June and July alone. And then there's also a hike in new underage drinkers and cigarette smokers.
Teenage pregnancy during the summer months. When it comes to school months, it's between 3 and 6 o'clock because parents are at work. When it comes to summer, there is no time. I mean, it is what it is. And here's the deal. The summertime kids are free. They're out there doing their thing. We don't see the problems because they're not in school. So they're not going to be late. They're not going to miss homework. You're not going to get tardy calls. Your kids are just kind of doing their thing. And here's this couple scary things about all this is the average parent, and we've been talking about this a lot, spends between 2 and 10 minutes with their 12 to whatever 19-year-old kid a day. 2 to 10 minutes. That's terrible.
Yep.
How was your day? It was good. How was school? It was okay. Do you have any homework? I done it. Are you hungry? I ate. Now, that doesn't even happen because it's summertime, so we don't even have that conversation.
They're going to say, what are you doing today? And their teen is going to tell them whatever, and then they're going to walk out the door.
Now, there's three categories when it comes to kids. And let's talk about, you all figure out which category is your kid. The first category, no matter what kind of a dad or mom you are, your kids are level-headed kids. They know what they want to do. They have a goal. They're not going to let stupidity get in their way. They're not going to use drugs. They're not going to get crazy. They have a goal. They're going to go to school, take care of business. And some of us have kids like that. That's fine. Those are great, right? But we don't want them to be overachievers either, so we have to really pay attention to that because they can be pretty hard on themselves. The next category of kids, and this is really, a lot of people think this is the largest category. This is not. This is the smallest category, is the high-risk kids, period. They're going to act crazy, drive fast, fight, use drugs, whatever it is they're going to do, no matter what kind of mom or dad you are. And those kind of kids is extremely high maintenance. We have to really stay on them and make sure that they survive. Now, the next category, this is the largest category of kids. And this is what I deal with most of the time, even though to some parents it feels like the last category. It's the high-risk kids. These are what you call the fence sitters. Meaning what? Meaning they can go either way. If they're hanging out with a bunch of people, especially social media today, peer pressure is 100 times stronger than ever before when it comes to sex and drugs and all that stuff. Those kind of kids, if they have all that peer pressure, they're going to end up in trouble. They're going to experiment with drugs, have sex at a young age, and all that kinds of stuff. Now, all those corny sayings, families that stay together, families that play together, families that pray together, families that eat dinner together without cell phones.
There you go.
These kids do well. But how much time do we spend with our kids? 2 to 10 minutes? How much time do they have with their friends today? Think about it. What is the very last thing your kid, I'm talking to you, whoever's listening, what is the very last thing your kid does every day before they go to sleep? I can tell you, check their social media. Before they turn out the lights, before they turn off the whatever it is, they look and see who tweeted or snapped, whatever you want to call it, or right? So they go to bed with their friends. They wake up before they go to the restroom. What is the first thing they do? They check their social media. So they go to sleep with their friends, and they wake up with their friends. Maybe we see them for a minute or two in the morning before they go to school. Maybe. So we got a minute or two. Then they go to school. Who are they with? All day. They're friends. They come home. Mom and dad's at home. Who's waiting for them? They're friends. We come home, do that 2 to 10 minute thing, how's your day thing, and they go right back to their room with who? With their friends again. So the kids we're losing today are the kids we would not have lost 15 years ago when we didn't have the cell phones and so much social media and maybe mom stayed home. So the message is, folks, spend time with your kids. 2 to 10 minutes don't work. If you're going to dinner with your kids, moms, don't check your Facebook to see how many likes you got. And dads, stay off your email stuff. Be with your kid. Be with your family. And I'll tell you what, I was pretty guilty of a lot of that when I was working and taking care of business. Not anymore. When I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. So we have to be present, period, when it comes to that. The kids we're losing today. The reason why so many more kids are using pot for the first time or drinking or having sex is because of peer pressure.
During the summer, right?
Because these are the kids that might not have done it a few years ago. But because of lack of parental involvement, they're doing it today. Does that make sense?
It does. And I want to repeat this again. This is called, from Memorial Day through Labor Day, it is called the 100 Deadliest Days for Teens.
Makes perfect sense to me.
This whole problem that you mentioned, Cary, about the amount of time you spend with your kids is on steroids in the summer, because you may be even spending less time with them while you're working and they're out and about.
And I have a lot of parents, well, I speak to my kids all day long. We text. That's great.
Oh, you text.
I text my kid all day long and say, hey, I love you, what's going on? But that's not the personal attention that we need to give them. It's not that kind of when we talk to somebody, look them in the eyes and touch them. It's different.
And so here we have teens getting behind the wheel of a car. They're distracted in a variety of fashions, and when I say distracted, this is one of the things that parents can talk to their teens about. You have to talk to them about this.
I was pulling up here today, and I was coming down Lyons, and I stopped. I was right pulling out of what's it called, the Starbucks parking lot, with my Starbucks drink, and a car with 4 kids pulled up, and they were listening to music, and they're vaping, smoking, or whatever you want to call it, pouring out of that car, and they're laughing and having a great time. Pretty dangerous.
And probably not paying much attention to where they were on the road.
Well, all I can see was the music, laughter, and a bunch of stuff coming out of the car. I hope that they're safe and that they're paying attention, but it's still pretty frightening stuff.
It is frightening, especially, and I'm going to repeat this, over the past 5 years, more than 5,000 people have been killed in crashes involving teen drivers during the 100 Deadliest Days.
And then you talk about overdoses. What time is it, Michael? How many people died since we've been on the show? 2.
Yeah, 2.
2 people already lost their lives to drug overdoses since we've been on this show. That's not a maybe. Those are real statistics. So
what are some of the things parents can do? Should, in the summertime, depending on their child, do you think they should set and enforce regular curfew?
I think absolutely. Now, if a 16-year-old, what's a 16-year-old child going to be doing at 2 in the morning out there? Nothing really safe.
Not very good. And I'm not going to say who.
I could tell you what they're doing.
I'm not,
right? What would it say? Yeah, you're not part of the show. Grab a mic for a second. How old are you now? How old are you?
I'm 23 now.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Cody.
We could not do the show without Cody.
This is our board operator.
He really,
behind the scenes.
And he's awesome, but he's not behind the scenes right now.
Okay.
16-year-old kid out 2 in the morning. What are they doing?
16 probably drinking, or actually 16 they're probably doing drugs because you can't buy alcohol when you're 16.
Or having sex, or doing something they shouldn't be doing. So parents, why is it that your kids don't have a curfew at 16 years old? What is the legal curfew, by the way, at 16?
I'm not sure.
I know it is.
You have to look that up.
It's 10 o'clock. What is the legal curfew at 16 on Friday nights? 10 o'clock. How about Saturday nights? 10 o'clock. Why? Because what would a kid that young be doing out that late? Now, that doesn't mean that if your kid is coming home from a movie or something like that, that the police are going to mess with them. But if they're standing at 7-Eleven or doing something like that, they're gonna harass them.
Now, here, I want to bring this up because I read this a long time ago, and a celebrity whose name I'm not going to use.
Somebody from KHTS just tried to call me. Stephen Peoples, I'm on the radio.
A celebrity whose name I'm not going to use said that in his house, he doesn't care how old any of his kids are. If they're there in his house, there is a curfew, and they will respect it. So it doesn't matter to him. If they're in his house, they're going to be in by a certain time into the story.
I don't really care what other people do. I mean,
Yeah.
What matters to me is my house.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's what he's
there's
saying.
rules, and you follow the rules,
That's
and that's
exactly
what it is.
what
And
he's saying.
kids and parents are not equal.
Hello.
Oh, it's not fair. If you want fair, go to Pomona. Life's not always fair. I mean, my job is to protect my children, right?
100%. 100%. So we agree a curfew is a good thing to do. What if your child is going to go on a sleepover? Do you just say, oh, that's good, where are you going, thank you, have a good time?
Well, I have a real problem with parents that do that. I mean, if you have a 14-year-old kid and they're 16, whatever age are, and they're saying, we're going to go sleep at Cody's house, call Cody's parents.
Make sure they're there.
Make sure it's safe. Make sure that's really where they're at. I know when we were young and we told our parents where we are, we weren't usually there. The great thing about today is we have cell phones and we can take pictures and we can say, hey, send me a picture of Mom. I mean, there's things we can do to really make sure that that's where they're at.
Yeah.
So keep track of your kids.
And the other side of the coin is
Make sure they're safe.
if there's a sleepover at your house,
And even Cody agrees.
you call the other kid's parents yourself and tell them where they are.
Exactly.
So that's a good way. But you know, there are parents out there saying, oh, but I need to give my teen more space. Well, you got to be careful about what you do when you give them too much space.
Whatever happened with trust but verify. Right? Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm glad you're going to Mike's house. Let me call the mom just to make sure it's okay with her that you're there. Pretty simple. Trust but verify.
So we can help cut down on the amount of teen auto collisions and other things that happen during the summer by being a parent. You can't say, what am I supposed to do? Because the answer to that is be a parent.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're supposed to tell your child, they can always call action.
You can call action or come to Tuesday night action at Canyon High School.
You'll help
That's
them
what
out,
we
right?
do. We help parents learn how to be parents and set boundaries and goals and all kinds of stuff.
Let me ask you a question, Cary.
Did you hear Cody? Wasn't he good on the radio?
I got a question for you here, Cary.
Yeah.
Do these two words, should they mean anything to parents? Consistency and frequency.
Of course. I mean, in any kind of deal, you need to be consistent. Especially when it comes to rules and regulations and boundaries and stuff like that. If you're not consistent, your kid realizes, you know what, here, I own drug rehabs for kids, right?
That's right.
And when we get kids in there, they're so used to doing what they want. When it comes time for them to leave, and I ask them, what are you going to miss the most? I'm talking to a 15-year-old kid. You know what they say? The structure. Because what they're fighting the most is what they feel the safest when they have.
There you go.
Structure.
Yeah.
And consistency. When we say no, guess what it means? It means no. No doesn't mean talk me into it. But in so many homes, when we say no, it means talk me into it. No doesn't mean no. Can I have some money to go to the movies? No. Yeah, okay, you're going to give it to him. Give it to him anyways. Can I stay at Joe's house? No. You're going to let him anyways. Can I stay out to 11? No means yes. These kids learn real quickly that if they work on us enough, we're going to surrender. So there you go. Be consistent when it comes to your kids.
And I've known parents, and so have you, who you could stand there and watch their child argue them into submission every single time out.
I know.
I mean,
I'm not going
adamant.
to say I'm guilty sometimes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oops. Oh boy,
Cary,
everyone knows me.
Well,
Yeah.
so
Hey, nobody's perfect, and I'm guilty of that too. My daughter can work me over sometimes.
I've actually seen that happen.
I bet. When did you see that?
I've seen that
happen?
happen, Cary.
Do you have a camera in my house, Michael?
Not at all. No. I've actually been there when you were on the phone and it happened.
But you know what? But you know what? But that's none of us are perfect. But the reality is we really need to be as consistent as possible.
That's right. And frequency counts too, because just because you tell them once, does that mean they're going to get it, Cary?
No. You need to be very consistent when it comes to your kids.
And frequent.
And I'll tell you what, if you say something to your kid and you don't mean it, don't say it. If you keep
that's
bothering me, I'm going to ground you. If you have no intentions on grounding your kid, don't say it. Don't make false promises or threats. Make sure that you can follow through with what you say. Because otherwise it turns you into a wet noodle.
Yes.
And they realize that, hey,
I think we
my
all
dad
know
don't
parents
mean
who have put kids on restriction, put their teens on restriction, taken away some things for a week, and about 2 days later, it's all over with.
You know what? I can't stand long-term consequences.
Hey, both of our board operators are smiling big time at that. I wonder if they've been through that one.
No, I can't stand long-term consequences. They don't work, number one. Number two is we don't follow through. Short-term consequences when you work with your kid. My daughter, when she was young, taking her phone away for an hour, just might as well have been a week. And I always find short-term consequences work real good. Long-term consequences backfire, period. It creates all kind of craziness.
What we're talking about here today, the 100 deadliest days for teens, Memorial Day through Labor Day. The reason we're talking about it is that we want the parents out there that are listening to understand that this is not a time to sit back and say, hey, it's summer, let them run wild. I don't need to be there. I don't need to parent that much. I can let it kind of hang loose. No, you can't. This is deadly. We're talking about lives here. We're talking about 5,000 people in the past year that have died as a result of this kind of stuff. It's distracted teens on the road, and
these are, by the way, we're talking about your kids.
Yeah.
These are your kids we're talking about. You better pay attention, because that not my kid or not me, it's somebody. And it's somebody's kids.
And listen here, as someone who, as a parent who lost a child, I can tell you, once they're gone, they ain't coming back.
No, there's no more hugging them.
No.
Can't say I love you to them anymore.
It's all gone.
It's all gone.
You don't want to be there. I've been there. Let me tell you, you don't want to be there.
It's a terrible spot. I can't even imagine. I got 3 kids.
I can't imagine, and I've gone through it.
Yeah, I know.
My wife and I.
I was there.
You were, Cary. You were a great friend. I'll tell you, that was phenomenal.
Yeah, and no parent should ever have to bury their kids.
But that's why we're telling you, pay attention. The 100 deadliest days for teens, Memorial Day, and through Labor Day, you've got to pay attention. Nearly 60%, that's a lot, of teen crashes involve distracted teen drivers who don't have that much experience to begin with, right? So if they get in a bind, they really don't know how to react that well.
You know, it takes less than a second for something horrible to happen on a freeway or on a street. You turn this way, and a lot can happen in that second or two when you turn back.
Yeah.
The most dangerous, deadly thing all of us does every day is get behind the wheel of our car.
That's a big responsibility, getting behind the wheel of a car. That's why we're saying we want these ignition interlock devices on those cars, because we don't want people driving.
I want to change the law. I don't want my kids driving till they're 30. No, I'm just kidding. But,
I like that. That's a good one.
But really, think about it. Not a bad idea. Courtney, I'm taking your car away. You can have it back when you're 30.
Oh, watch what's going to happen now. His cell phone's going to light up.
Oh, she's working today. She didn't hear that.
Oh, okay. All right. The 100 deadliest days for teens, Cary. You know what? They should, if parents don't know what to do, they really should go to your Tuesday thing.
Every Tuesday, Canyon High School, 7 o'clock in the AA building. There's a parent support group. I run that.
Even in the summer?
Yes, with some great parent volunteers that's been through anything that you can imagine or that you're going through. And we have 2 counselors that deal with your kids, just about any behavior from substance abuse to self-esteem and everything between.
And you got people.
And by the way, it's free.
It's free. That's a great thing. And you've got people.
I'll be there tomorrow night.
You'll be there. You're always there.
I'm always, almost.
Hey, I got to say something. You mentioned tough love last week.
Right.
And I was going to say something to you, but we got involved in something else. The very first time that I ever saw you, I happened to tune across to a Lisa Gibbons show, and there you were talking about tough love. Little did I know that we would meet and be on the air together.
That's right. I did a lot of television, and I was her expert for a lot of years when on the Lisa show.
Yeah.
And did a lot, I think about 17 shows with her. I did a lot of shows with her.
Time for us to go away.
Is it?
It is.
Break time?
It is break time.
Well, take us on a break.
All right. We'll be right back.
Unless you want Cody to do it. No, he don't want to do it?
He's backing off.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more Families in Action, the 100 Deadliest Days for Teens, here on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. Welcome back to Families in Action, right here on KHTS AM 1220, your hometown station. Cary and I have been talking about the 100 deadliest days for teens, in case you just tuned in.
We're right in the midst of it.
That's right. Memorial Day through Labor Day, in case you're wondering what the 100 deadliest days for teens are, because they are out there unsupervised doing a lot of driving, and they are very distracted because we are losing over 5,000 people in the past 5 years. That's over 1,000 people a year have been killed in crashes involving teen drivers during the 100 deadliest days. Nearly 60% of teen drivers or teen crashes involve distracted drivers, and that is talking, listening to music, texting, and doing social media all at the same time while driving that great
or
big
any
thing.
of the above.
All kinds of stuff all together. And you
Yeah.
drive behind somebody and you see them swerving down the road and not going when the light turns green.
Yeah,
And you know what they're doing.
I've seen people driving so crazy, it's like they're drunk. Oh, no, they're not. They're on their phone. It's like, really? Look at that.
Now, listen to this, Cary. Talking or attending to other passengers in the vehicle accounts for about 15% of the crashes.
Well, like I said earlier, you turn to the right and you answer a question, and you turn back, and all kinds of things can happen.
And here's one
That fast in a car.
Here's one we didn't even mention, and that's attending to or looking for something else inside the vehicle.
Yeah.
So you're just, you're looking around behind you. Where did I leave that?
Or
And
you drop
can't
you
find-
drop your phone
on
and
the
you try to
floor.
pick it up and
Yeah.
crash. You rear-end it. Now, I'm not going to say I'm guilty of that a few years ago, about 10 years ago. I did that.
There was a
Dropped
whole
the phone. I wasn't even on it.
There was
Went
a
to
whole-
pick it up and I rear-ended somebody.
There was a whole movie done about that.
I'm sure.
Fellow.
So I'm not the only one?
All of his CDs fell out, and he'd been over to pick up his CDs, and he ran into a bus, and the whole rest of the movie takes place up in, well, it wasn't heaven.
Yeah.
Oh, we just want to caution parents.
Distracted driving.
We want to caution parents to be parents. This is not a good time to back off. This is a time to get in there and make sure you know what's going on and talk to them about not doing this stuff. It may save their life. It may save the lives of others.
And you never even know it.
That's right.
But the reality is your kids are safe. That's what matters.
That's the number one biggie. If you're a parent, that's what you spend all your time doing, right?
Yeah, you want to make sure your kids know the difference between right and wrong, and good and bad, and they're safe.
And the summertime influence of friends, that peer pressure is way higher.
And the most dangerous time for any teenager is during the summertime.
Which means
it's
that-
supposed to be the funnest, but it's also definitely the most dangerous.
And so that means for us more adult folks that it's also more dangerous because they're
That's
out
right.
there running into us.
Hey, I don't want to get
Think
run
about
into.
that.
They
Is it, now, let me ask you.
They already stole my seats, Mike.
I
Now
heard,
you're getting me
but
crashed.
Let me ask you a
and
question.
my fishing reels, and my friend's fishing reels. Okay.
At
Here we get me going again.
at the risk of infuriating your
I
daughter.
better not catch these people.
At the risk of infuriating your daughter.
Yes.
Are we safe on the road with her?
Yeah, we are very safe on the road with my daughter. She's very responsible and reliable, and I trust her completely.
Yeah.
And in fact, even last night, Dad, can I use your car? Oh my goodness.
Maybe that would have been better because.
She used it.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. I didn't want to argue. If I said no, she'd have talked me into it anyway.
Oh, so you weren't the one that was at the movie.
No, I was.
Oh, you were?
That was last night, Saturday night.
Oh, I see. Oh, I
was
had the
at
days confused.
Got in the car, went home, had no clue until I got home that seats were missing.
So if
So it
somebody,
was fishing reels.
If somebody just tuned in, Cary had an unfortunate incident take place while he was in a movie theater enjoying a movie. He came out and found that someone had helped themselves to the contents of your vehicle.
They sure have. My
That-
seats.
Is that a
And
good
everything
way?
else they can get to hand. They left my wallet. They left my leather jacket.
Now, the thing that's almost a little humorous is you didn't realize the seat was gone until later.
I don't think anything's funny about this. But yeah, you're right.
You would have recognized it if the front seats were missing. You would have known that right
Well,
away.
I have an Escalade. I didn't look. Why would I look in the back to see if my seats were there?
Yeah. Well, no. That's
For what
not-
reason?
That comes up very infrequently.
Well, that's not true. I was talking to the LAPD when I had to file a report yesterday, and they said it's extremely normal that
No.
Escalades are seats are stolen, and catalytic converters are one of the hottest items right now.
No,
in
that's
parking
wasn't
lots.
what I was referring
No, I
to. I
know.
was saying it was
Yeah.
not something you would do frequently. Is look in the back of your car for your front seat,
I
your back
can
seat.
guarantee you I will now.
Oh, anyway, so Cary, I'm sorry that happened to you,
Me too.
and that hopefully you'll be in a good mood soon
In about a year.
after you get to put your wallet away, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, ouch. Ooh,
Oh,
ouch.
you know what? They could have took the wallet. They didn't take the wallet.
That's true.
Not very
Or
smart,
they
because
could
I had
take it-
credit cards, and there was a couple $100 in it too. So they missed it.
I was going to say that they could have tried to take the car while you were in it, but that probably wouldn't have worked out well for them.
No, somebody would have had a problem. Either me or them, but it wouldn't have worked out well.
Wouldn't have
for
worked out
somebody.
well.
No.
And by the way, let's not. You're not advocating violence.
No,
here. You're
not
just
even.
saying that maybe something might have transpired that would have made them rethink the idea of taking something from your vehicle.
Yes, it wouldn't have worked out well.
That would be good.
I'm not still mad, am I?
Not much.
No. On that note,
Okay,
Mike.
Cary, just before we break,
Yeah.
3 people have
Yeah.
overdosed and passed away while we've done this show.
Prescription drugs, people.
Watch it. Watch it. This is not a joke.
This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Cary and Mike. Till next week.